Welcome in to Sweaty Time Pro Wrestling, the only podcast on the Marshland Media Empire conglomeration experience, breaking arts down, episode by episode, beat by beat, and sweat by sweat. Lucha Underground. It is me, Sean, one half of your host. Alongside me is the other half of your host, James.
Wow. You did not come through at all on that last bit via Discord. So I'm assuming you said James for a real long time.
For a real long time. A little peek behind the curtains there for all you curtain aficionados listening. We record ourselves off Audacity, and according to Audacity visualizers, it made sound and it agreed. I have never worked harder for an intro in my life than to say your name for a really long time. So if that doesn't get picked up,
no, I know it's on you. It's Discord. It's just Discord. Okay. It's fine, Sean.
And if you cut me out,
I won't cut you out of this episode. It would take longer for me to do. Oh, the entire episode? Then it'd be a real easy edit, baby.
No, don't do it. I have so many strong opinions.
It will be very easy because I think this is the first time it's happened on Sweaty Time Pro Wrestling. Usually it's explanation required, which I got to do by myself this week, discussing Heaven's War Christian propaganda movie, even though it's not really Christian propaganda.
It's going to be Christian propaganda. It's called Heaven's War.
I've watched it.
I looked it up. Oh, have you? Okay.
Yeah.
I looked it up briefly because I was going to try to come on.
No.
But like I'd be too sleepy, and I should sleep at some point in my life. I hate not being there for the Christian propaganda, though. It's my favorite. You know this.
Nicole says it's not, and that's fine. But Sean,
yes,
it is again a glorious week. Just like Jesus Christ, he rains light upon and cleans us of our sins. It's clean week here at Marshland Media. No curses, no smut, no none of that.
I am desperately looking through my notes. I can not curse on the fly. I'm good. Happy clean week to you, James.
Happy clean week. I'm looking at my first note. It's
Thank
something
you.
Nicole said, and of course, it's a curse word, so I can't say that.
Wait, no, I have to know Nicole's opinions. I simply must.
Someone says, sit down, please. And Nicole said, more like S down, please. Am I right?
Wow. Damn. Nicole gets wrestling. I'll say it before and I'll say it again. Nicole gets wrestling. Just like you beautiful people get to experience a little bit of heaven into your homes. I was about to transition into explanation required. That's not what we're doing.
No.
That's not what we're doing.
And why would you transition into it?
I just got excited. I'm not gonna lie. I'm feeling good. I had my birthday. I celebrated my birthday for the first time in my adult life.
Whoa.
In that, like, I called people. I'm like, hey, let's go out and do stuff. You and Nicole were there. Thank you so much for coming out.
You're welcome.
Hey, thank you. It was a blast. No, it was so, like, it was just kind of affirming. I don't know if you've ever, I'm trying to think. Have you ever, like, planned your own party?
No, I've been involved with planning to help along with it, but I've never really planned my own.
Yeah, it's so, as someone's like, it's taken me too long. I am now 36 years of age. I feel like I can say it has taken me too long as somebody who also is like not perpetually single. That's a little too self-deterministic, but has been mostly single for most of my life. It has taken me too long to just like, hey, friends, meet me at this place, and I might be wearing a birthday tiara that James and Nicole have gotten me. It's a nice confidence boost. It's kind of the same thing of like if you ever take yourself out to the movies and you're like, I had a good time, and it's a weird confidence boost, but I'm very glad I did it.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for coming out again.
Yeah.
Even though the show we intended to go to was sold the out, and I'm the only person that bought tickets.
I gotta believe that, you idiot.
I forgot. You told me it's clean week as we hit record.
Yeah, that's
we
how
had
it
a
always
full
goes.
conversation.
It
doesn't have to be.
I send everyone invites to my Google Calendar, and no one accepts it. Clean week is scheduled months in advance. No fooling. Even Nicole forgets, and she is on the calendar.
I'm so sorry. I'm not allowed on Google Doc calendars after I committed myself to that cult in Yahoo Docs. I'm in a Yahoo cult.
Okay, heck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
See
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I
yeah.
did there? I said heck.
Nice. Good. Good for you, Mr. Heckin. Well censored. Doing it for our Lord. JS? That's right. No more Jesus Christ. It's Jake Strong as we get into episode 19 of season 4, Savagery.
What dirt did he have on the producers?
It's interesting. So we're ramping up, and we've already talked about before, so spoilers. But Jake Strong will be the last Lucha Underground champion, and it really feels like this episode is kind of like, oh, we have to get him there in 2 days. Everything just is moving at supersonic speed, and it's some of it comes across a little Mary Sue almost. If you know what I mean? In fan fiction especially, people put their self-insert characters. Famously, My Immortal, the Harry Potter fan fiction, is a great example of that.
We don't know if that was a Mary Sue. That could have been written by a 40-year-old man just having a lark. We do not know.
I'm pretty sure we do know who was writing it. And
No.
It was you. Are you sure?
At least last time I checked, people have said they have written it, but everyone's like, no, that person could not have written this.
Okay, maybe that's our next podcast is an investigative journalism into discovering the identity of the author of My Immortal. We could probably figure out only murders in the building style, but instead of solving murders, we discover who wrote My Immortal. And then I'm Steve Martin, you're Martin Short, and Henry is the girl from Wizards of Waverly Place. I can't think of her name. Wait, what is her name?
Selena Gomez?
Selena Gomez. Henry is Selena Gomez. Yes.
Okay, heck yeah.
Yeah. But regardless of who wrote it, it felt somewhat like that. And just because how quickly they had to implement him and kind of get him into the world title picture, a lot of it feels like, oh, so I'm just the really cool guy and I don't take anything from anyone and I'm from Perry, Oklahoma and I'm just really cool. That's my gimmick. And it's that's we'll get more into it.
His
that
gimmick
he's from
is
Perry,
just
Oklahoma.
Guy,
which I was thinking about that. If he was Kurt Angle, it doesn't work. Here's how it could work. If you take it he's just if you embrace fish out of water. First of all, you don't do this. You don't keep him. He doesn't need a title picture. He doesn't he needs interesting rivalries, and he needs that's more of a storyline than I get the belt. He doesn't need the belt right now. But you embrace this fish out of water. Do you know who Kurt Angle is?
Yeah.
Olympic gold medalist. Overall badass guy.
Yeah.
Which is not a swear because.
Oh no, actually it is. Don't say that.
No,
don't.
It's one word. I already said it. But okay, great. But he comes into the WWF in the late 90s, and he is such a fish out of water, right? You have The Rock, you have Zombie Wizard Undertaker, you have Stone Cold Steve Austin. These are such big characters. And now here's a guy who's just a clean-cut, all-around American, in essence, just a guy, kind of a nerd.
No, he's a gold medal Olympian.
No, wait, but were you what? He was absolutely cast and played as comparatively to all these big characters. And again, this is the late 90s. We're not in the peak cartooniness of the mid 90s, but it's still a very cartoony world we're living in the WWF at the time. So by comparison, he's a gold medalist, but he's kind of just a guy, and he becomes this fish out of water. That's the story you tell with Jake. Jake is an amazing, he is a legitimate wrestler. He's I think he's already been in Bellator. He's coming out of Bellator, so he's got a couple of fights under his belt. He's a real NCAA wrestling champion. But then he comes into the temple. Basically, I was thinking, what if Jake Strong was Kurt Angle? And it's this could work, but don't book him, don't push him to the title picture immediately and let him be a fish out of water. Let him have a match with Drago where he's like, yeah, I'm a better wrestler than Drago, but holy heck, this guy has hacking heck powers. He's pulling from the inframundo. And maybe you even have Jake beat him, but he barely beats him.
Oh, and he gets sprayed in the face with that mist, and you think Jake's gonna freak out, and he's like, oh no, I've dealt with rattlers on the range all my life. And then he like has an immunity to this type of stuff. Like that could be cool. But I think the big difference here is Kurt Angle has charisma, Jake Strong does not.
That's true.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying by like... He is literally just a guy who's like, oh, yeah, like, you know, Sarah and different Sarah, like, oh, yeah, Sarah,
you have to beep that now.
Oh, yeah. You know, Madeline. Wait, I'll just bleep what I said, not blank, you know?
I trust you to edit correctly.
So it would be like, hey, Madeline, her husband's that big guy, and the big guy doesn't talk, and you're like, I guess like she feels protected around him, and he probably like either lays good lovemaking under the no, we can't say, or step by step wouldn't be able to say that. Going with the hoo-ha.
Unless it was a plumbing episode.
Yeah,
then
I guess
that's a very important. Thank you. So he's a plumber. He can lay good pipe. Or he is an insomniac, so he can be up all night long. One of those two. If he was Dave Attell, this would be a much better episode.
Of course.
I remember, we'll get into it.
David Tell tries to snap Johnny Mundo's leg. That would be amazing.
I would watch the heck out of that. I opened up Cage Match and I scrolled back, and Cage Match it's viewer submitted, it's fan submitted, and you know how I feel about the internet wrestling community. I don't trust them. But I had to scroll back to like 2019 reviews of Jake Hager, aka Jake Strong, aka Jack Swagger, just to see like what it was. And like even the best reviews I could find all said the same thing. Like, hey, I like big, strong, like realistic looking dude. Don't let this guy talk. Okay. Like this guy is a charisma vacuum. Yeah, man, we'll get into it a bunch, because the episode's name is Savagery. It is named after the savage Jake Strong. This is them, and even if he wasn't, even like maybe if he was new, not a full charisma vacuum, but he was like something, it would still feel very hot-shotted. I want to be careful because that's a very insider term that I'm not. I'm just a guy with a wrestling podcast, you know? But hot-shotting refers to like kind of like almost like skipping the cue, kind of like doing something really quick to like capitalize maybe on a trend, but it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
And that's what even if you know, he could have been he was, name a great talker, just someone who you love to hear speak.
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Pointing to myself, that hurts so much. I could have pointed to myself any harder. Macho Man Randy Savage.
Hey guys, I'm not gonna edit Sean's lead up to him asking me, hey, who's a great talker, so you guys can understand why I wouldn't say that. Oh, wow. Dang. Do you see Butter in the corner? Oh, yeah.
Butter's being a little cutie.
Oh, my God. She's so so freaking cute. I will have to bleep that. The only times I curse on this is when I'm talking about a show I really love and just saying that's effing cool, or a cat walks in.
Got these gall darn cats. But Macho Man Randy Savage, even if this was Macho Man Randy Savage coming in, it would have felt too soon to like strap him up with the belt. And it's like, it's weird. I have to like go back, because I know there was a couple of like rivalries he had in the WWE that afterwards kind of left him going, hey, where am I? That's a shame. However, I don't want to call the title belt a full-on prop, because Vince Russo does that. And I don't think I don't always agree with Vince Russo as a wrestling writer. He's not. We've been watching the TNA Dark Side of the Ring, and Vince Russo's in that a bunch. And Vince Russo is interesting.
I fully 180'd, and I'm like, you want to know what? He's much like Alan Moore, in the sense that people who talk crap on Alan Moore, they're like, oh, he's an a-hole, this, that. And it's like, okay, well, what are all the situations? And the situations are always him just wanting his work to be presented in the best way possible. It's always the corporate overlords who are the ones, I think it's all capitalist propaganda going on Alan Moore. And I think a little bit of that is going on to Vince Russo. Yes, the stuff he comes up with, some people would think is extremely stupid and extremely dumb. But at the end of the day, whatever that stupid, dumb thing he wants to put on, he still wants to put it on in the best way possible.
I don't disagree. I don't think I 100% disagree with you. I like that. Also, like Vince Russo, he's just very on the other end of a spectrum that I don't agree with, which is that wrestling is a TV show more than its own thing. And Vince Russo famously called the world title, I had to finish this point before I lost it, call the world title a prop, right?
Yeah.
That's why he would put it on himself. He would put it on anyone he would like. And after a while, I was like, no, it's a little bit, if it's a prop, it's a very important prop, right? It has to be a big deal. It is your holy grail, which ultimately in Indiana Jones is just a prop, but it's still a major prop of that movie, the Holy Grail, right? That's the title. But it's still just a prop in that it's not more important. The characters are telling the story, not the prop. Like, it's a great motivation, like the Holy Grail in Indiana Jones. It's a great motivation to get a character to do something, maybe to betray someone, to dig into themselves and find something, but it's not more important. Like, the world title was not more interesting than, say, Stone Cold versus The Rock at WrestleMania 17, Limp Bizkit, My Way or the Highway promo. You know, it's the Holy Grail is important. It's not more important than Indiana Jones and his father reconnecting. Yeah. Like, it's a tool that's there, but it needs to start with that. And we don't have, especially with the way they presented him, Jake coming in immediately, and like, he had a great match with Sammy, which we're jumping around. Sammy Guevara, who was like there for a cup of coffee, but they only had the one match and then they wrote Sammy off. Even in his competitive matches, they always write the other guy off, so he doesn't have any rivalries, he doesn't have any storylines, he doesn't have anything connecting him to this place. So that his only relationship is with himself, and now gonna be with the title. Like, that's kind of what I mean when they're like, I guess in that sense, a little bit of Russo writing would have been nice, of like, hey, give him a couple of, give him another character to tell a story with. Don't just, like, he doesn't need the belt. He needs a rival. He needs an opponent. He needs a Gary Oak to his Ash. That's what Jake needs.
I'd love to see Russo write He-Man. Hey, the sword's just a prop. Who cares who has it?
Sword's just a prop. Bro. And I'm gonna say something. A lot of my Vince Russo ideas are not appropriate for Clean Week. So let's get into the episode. Yeah.
You think Jeff the Shark isn't pure of heart enough to hold Thor's hammer? Yeah. Thor's hammer's just a prop. Let Aunt May pick it up. Let her tenderize some meat, some cold cuts.
We gotta start watching JCW now that Vince Russo and Vampiro hang out in a trailer all day.
Wait, really?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I've only seen the clips, and I eventually deleted my TikTok. But yeah, the TikToks they were putting out was just like in a trailer at JCW shows. It's like Violent J, Vampiro, and Vince Russo in a trailer not getting along.
Okay.
It's the best sitcom that wrestling has ever seen. Probably. I don't know. I need to start watching the product. But yeah, Vince Russo and Vampiro just hanging out in JCW, baby.
All right, heck yeah.
Yeah, heck yeah. But before we get there, we gotta get through the Savagery. Episode 19 of season 4 of Lucha Underground. We get a little recap, and we covered it. Well, we've pretty much been covering it. Killshot and Son of Havoc are going mask versus mask. Batanza effed up Johnny and Taya's wedding, and Jake Strong is still here.
Yeah, real quick. The only savages I want are She-Hulk and a sword that Conan is wearing.
Thank you. And if by Conan is wearing, you do mean Conan the wrestler, of course.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, because Vince Russo is now writing Conan the Barbarian and is like, yeah, give it to the wrestler Conan. It's fine. His sword is a prop.
If Vince Russo started writing on Conan the Barbarian, but all of a sudden he's like, the one note he gave to the artist was like, okay, but you need to make him basically Conan the wrestler. Conan circa Wolfpack, NWO, with the baggy jeans, and he holds his I can't think of a clean way to say testicles, so I said it in the clinical way.
Yeah.
He holds his testicles and he does his clothesline. That's Conan the Barbarian now.
People would be like, hey, we really don't like this direction, but Liam Sharp is drawing it, so yeah, we're fine with it, Vince Russo.
Thank you, Vince. Yeah. And we're fine all the way up into Antonio Cueto's office. First scene of the episode. We've already got some backstage scenes again. Jake Strong walks in. He's got a fancy little suit as Antonio graciously asks him to take a seat. And Jake wants to know why he was called here. He wants to get straight to the point. So Antonio says, Jake, you've been dominant as hell. So, why not put you in the main event? Jake declines Antonio's assistance. He says, I'll become Lucha Underground champion, but not because you hand it to me on a silver platter. This is kind of where I'm like, this is where it feels almost very Mary Sue of Jake. Like, he feels like just what a cool guy. He walks in, he's in a fancy little suit. He tells the boss the boss loves me, but I tell the boss to get to the point, stop inflating my ego and tell me what you want. And then I tell the boss, I'm going to win it, but I don't need your help. I think he's supposed to be a bad guy, but he's trying to play it off like this really cool bad A. It's really hard not to swear.
Wait, real quick, I just looked up who wrote this season. The head writer was someone named Jack Week. Oh my God. Oh. I get it now. Jake Strong is the Mary Sue for Jake Week.
Oh my God. Whoa. Because I've known about Jake Week. Jake Week writes my favorite Harry Potter fan fiction, My Immortal. I didn't realize he was also Jake Strong, the wrestler. Whoa! Jake Strong wrote My Immortal as well as this episode of Lucha Underground? Whoa!
I was saying someone actually named Jake Week was writing this and was self-inserted. Oh yeah, let me get Jake Strong. Oh, I wish I could be as big and strong as him.
I assumed it was a pseudonym. No, it's just a guy. It's just a guy with wish fulfillment. Okay.
Also, on My Immortal, still hotly debated who actually wrote that.
I say Jake Strong. I say we push that narrative.
I thought it was Jack Week, but okay.
I think they're the same person.
I don't think
it's
so.
A pseudonym. We'll have to dig into it in our investigative journalist episodes. But yeah, it does feel very much like, and maybe some of that was going in when he signed his contract of hey, at the end of my WWE run, they really kind of dropped the ball on me. If you're gonna push me as a monster, let me be a monster. Which true. They did if you're gonna make someone a monster, you have to push them like a monster. But you don't. This is too much, and this is too. It's too much, and it's too weird for a guy that doesn't do lines good. And it's just they're making him into a literal monster because at the end of this segment he's like, I'll see you later, and has a demon voice. Which is you don't need. That's when I realized, dang, if you would have let him play the fish out of water, that would have been so much more interesting.
Yeah.
If he was just Perry, Oklahoma, I'm a really good wrestler. Why does that guy come out of a coffin every night? What's going on here? It would have been so much more interesting than. And then I tell the boss that I'm too cool for him. And then the boss is like, please, I love you. And then he makes kissy faces at me, and I punch a wall, and I make a demon voice. Yeah, the final line. Oh, yeah, go for it.
He's like, why is one of the announcers kissing two mannequins? He knows those ladies aren't real, right?
That is such a specific reference to...
They know.
Who's they? I think it's behind the Patreon paywall. The people have listened
to all of this. They've heard us reference Vampire Warrior of the Night.
And if you haven't, get behind that paywall on Patreon.
I think I've released it in this feed.
Oh, nice. Then go back, mother truckers. The final line, I think it's one of the last things he says. Jake says to Antonio, I've seen the sacrifices you fed to your son. You better save some for me. Huh? What? What does that mean? You're gonna eat people? You're a cannibal? Is that part of your character? What are we doing? You can't just be like, oh, like, I'm cool and I'm just a guy, but like, I know stuff and I'm not scared. Like, no, be scared. That's interesting. If you're scared of the monster, that's more interesting, Jake.
Or at least confused. Like, oh my God, there's monsters here? What the heck is this? The only monster I knew back in Perry, Oklahoma was the panhandle. You don't want to go there. There are some screwy people there.
I would love that. And now we're setting up for a new character, the monster of the panhandle, who's like, I'm thinking we take the Philly fanatic and we just give him a different color. Like we just paint him a different color.
Philly fanatic, but shave him.
Yeah. And then we call him the panhandle podiatrist, and he fixes your feet, but he doesn't fix them quite right. So, we got a Pet Cemetery thing going on too. We cut to the desk. We're 2 weeks away from Ultima Lucha Quattro, but first, Antonio's got some news about Gift of the Gods. He's ringside with the strap. As typical, when the Gift of the Gods is used, Dragon Ball style rules, the medallions get spread away. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, in that office segment, Antonio gives Jake one of the medallions. Those famous Gift of the God medallions. You gather all 7, you put them in the title belt, and then you have the Gift of the Gods Championship, which you can turn in for a title opportunity at any time. So, we're ringside. Antonio's got the strap with no medallions in it, and announces we've got to decide a new Gift of the Gods champion by Ultima Lucha. I feel we've probably done this before, but I don't think quite this quick. And this is another area. This is another time where I'm like, we're hot-shotting too much. Where I feel like we've had multiple Gift of the Gods champions in a single or determined matches in a single season, but it doesn't feel like this quick. Like we're 2 weeks out from Ultima Lucha. It feels like we already had a cash-in a successful cash-in. Like Marty is still rocking the title. Like, and it just feels very like, oh, shoot, we have extra time to fill. We need a Gift of the Gods. No, it won't, because this won't even be determined on Ultima Lucha. This will be determined before Ultima Lucha. It'll be determined next week. But yeah, it just feels like, why do we need a Gift of the Gods champion? Like, why are we doing this so last minute?
Is it being determined? I thought there was going to be...
Next week. They're doing it next week.
They're determining it next week. I thought they were determining who is going to be in the determining matchup next week that's going to take place at Ultima Lucha.
No, I think it's, from what I gathered, and it was pretty confusing. But so I guess let's keep talking about it. So yeah, Antonio's skipping the line instead of having matches for the medallions, which, by the way, I love that system. Like, it's a little tournament, it's a little tournament-y, but I love those, like, medallion qualifying matches. And I love that, like, oh, it's Gift of the Gods, like, season. So, like, you have a match on the card, it's already excited, and then Melissa will announce, and this is for Gift of the Gods medallion. And you're like, oh boy, I like that. I missed that. But so yeah, instead of having that, here are just 7 dudes that have a medallion. Only one of them got a cutscene. But at least they're all like really, these are all top guys or people we're excited to see again. So it's Aerostar, PJ Black, who is returning. It's great to see PJ Black back. Hernandez, you know how I feel about Hernandez. King Cuerno, who has so much storyline that looks like we're not paying off. We only got 2 weeks till Ultima Lucha, and I'm really bummed. He took the gauntlet, he hid the gauntlet. We haven't heard about the gauntlet actually at all, have we?
No, yeah, the gauntlet has been so out of whack, it feels like. And real quick, I believe the next episode, the only match that's happening is this Gift of the Gods determining match.
Woof, rough. But yes. So King Cuerno, who, that's a shame, because King Cuerno's character, I don't think I was more excited for a babyface turn than I was for King Cuerno's, and they just dropped the ball on that entirely, huh? That might be the only like really hard ball dropped storyline I could think of that they really just like, yeah, which is a bummer.
The sexy star one, with the, oh my God, the tarantula, but you know, she snaps someone's arm, so of course.
Yeah, and they were probably trying to get somebody else. Like, I still assume they were trying to get Victoria in there, just because I've never seen Chelsea Green with that imagery of the spider, and she's so associated with tarantulas. So maybe things fell through, but they still paid it off, or at least tried to answer it. They didn't, this is just kind of like, oh no, so King Cuerno is in King Cuerno, but he's still a top contender. Makes sense, he's in the Gift of the Gods. The Savage Jake Strong, and a returning Dante Fox, which is very exciting. And probably, so that's 6 names, probably the most important name, Big Bad Steve.
Oh yeah.
James, don't that. No.
He's the biggest, he's the baddest, and he's Steve.
He had 2 matches. One was a losing trios match, and then another, he jobbed out to Jake Strong in 5 minutes. Why is Big Bad Steve why is Big Bad Steve being given a Gift of the Gods medallion? Look at those names again. Aerostar, PJ Black, Hernandez, King Cuerno, Jake Strong, a champion who had to relinquish his title through no fault of his own, the returning Dante Fox, and Big Bad Steve. He doesn't even have a last name. His name is Big Bad Steve.
But wasn't he wrestling under different pseudonyms in Lucha Underground?
So this is also Pindar of the Reptile Tribe. But this is you got to give it up to kayfabe, right? Like Pindar's head, Johnny cut off Pindar's head. Pindar is dead. This is not like an unmasked Pindar. This is a totally new guy that Famous B said if you remember, Famous B said, I found this guy in a rest stop bathroom somewhere along Highway 40, and I signed him to a contract. Like, this guy, you talk about just a guy. Big Bad Steve is the most just a guy, which is fine, by the way. I like Big Bad Steve in that I'm a big guy, but I'm a mid-carder, and I tend to lose, like, jobber in not a pejorative way.
Yeah.
Like, this is a guy who's there to lose. You should not have your jobbers get with your Gift of the Gods medallions.
They need 7 combatants in this matchup. Guess what? It's about to be Ultima Lucha. Everyone else's stories are filled. Who do we have? It's either the pizza guy, the guy who buys pizza from the pizza guy, or Big Bad Steve.
That's the problem. That's maybe why we shouldn't be doing a Gift of the Gods right now.
Also, my biggest issue with this, mine is I thought the medallions were like a coin, where on both sides you have printed, hey, this is that Gift of the Gods medallion. No, we see the other side of it when we're in Cueto's office, and it's just smooth, gross. Get it out of here.
I missed that. Ew. Part of the investigative journalism podcast is going to be going back and seeing if it was always like that, because that's weird. Or then don't show the backside of the medallion, maybe. Oh my gosh.
That's like if your girl's got a flat butt, maybe keep her front facing. Put her on a wall, you know? If you're at a party and your girl's got a flat butt, put her on the wall. She'll fit right in.
Yeah.
And this goes out to all the men with flat butts as well. Get on that wall.
I'm glad Clean Week doesn't stop weird, almost misogynist until you call out the men, so thank you very much. But like still very almost Jeff Foxworthy, almost Bill Maher New Rule-esque commentary. I'm glad that's still coming through.
Speaking of Clean Week, God should only be one. Monotheists is just what it should be. One God, and that's it. Let's conglomerate all of these. That's what they're doing probably right now is, hey, can we make this Cueto kid one God? He eats up all the other ones. That's why he needs one side smooth so he can chomp down all these medallions easier. Okay. You know?
No, that's true. That's true. That's why if you're ever wondering why you're so backed up, like, and this is just like, hey, we're in our 30s now. You're talking about like your health. You wonder why you're so backed up? You're eating too many complicated, wrinkly foods. Get something smooth in you. Have yourself a smooth little bowel trip to the porcelain altar. And then pray to only one God, you sickos. And that God should be Jeff Cobb.
And that it would make it easier to turn them into Oreos for him.
Okay, no. He's eating poop now?
No, the medallions.
Oh, I'm
Because
sorry.
one side's
I was
smooth
thinking
like an Oreo.
I don't know why I assumed you meant when they passed through his system. I'm sick, and I'm sorry. Don't look at me like you've never done something like I've just done.
Not on Clean Week.
Absolutely. Okay.
I'm the cleanest person in Clean Week. And James isn't. No, listen to all the episodes. I get bleeped the least unless a cat comes around and hangs out, or if we're talking about Zyram or something.
You gotta bleep that. We can't talk about kitten on Clean Week. What's wrong with you?
That's why I clarified, because I knew you'd be like, oh, hey, even though it's Clean Week, James might have to edit this out. I'm just going to leave one big bleep where you were supposed to be talking.
Man, that was good. Whatever.
I'm going to AI your voice to just be one censor beep. Every time you talk, every syllable is a different beep.
Hey, man, I ain't worried about it. I know I made a good joke, and that's all I need. I also, so you mentioned before how kind of like, we talked about how confusing it was a little bit. Like, I thought next week they're doing this thing. I think this is where it starts too. So next week they say 6 will fight to determine who'll be the Gift of the Gods champion, because this week we're having a 7-man over-the-top battle royale. And kind of like we did last time when Mac won, the winner of the battle royale will choose one person who will not be able to compete, which is the start of the Mac and Mill feud. Because Mac said, "Hey, Mill, no, I'm vetoing your opportunity of Gift of the Gods."
You scared the S out of me.
Wait, what? Oh, yeah, that was the Mac quote. Because Mac's great, and we'll see Mac in a second. But first, we have to do a quick little 7-way battle royale. Vampiro is turned on by Aerostar in an very uncharacteristic all black. And I'm like, Dark Side Arrow, maybe? We might have more time to explore this if we didn't have to make Jake Strong look so cool, you know?
Nicole did comment on that, saying, I feel like Vampiro has been turned on by many men. Is this telling? And I'm like, I don't know, Nicole. I'm just watching this awesome wrestling match, which it feels so intimate. There's what, 200 people here, maybe?
Probably, maybe so. Maybe less. I'm trying to think. Yeah. I would say 200 sounds right.
Think of going to an intimate venue and you see the Beatles perform a brand new album once live, and that's the only time they're going to do it. Yeah, it's recorded, but you were there. This is the only time they're playing this music. That's what this wrestling is.
I think I've said it on this podcast, but one of my favorite indie shows at the Logan Square Auditorium, which is, smaller, probably smaller than the Ice House out there in Lucha Underground land, but a small venue. And I got to see Colt Cabana, whom I love. I love Colt Cabana.
Especially when he's a cop.
No, that's the only time he's a bad guy. No, Officer Cabana's a jerk. And if you go back to watch some of his old stuff, it does not age well. Might be some of the worst aging stuff in wrestling. But I love Colt Cabana versus MJF, who, if you follow modern wrestling, at this point, I think 3-time AEW World Champion, just probably the best talker in modern wrestling. I don't even think probably, without a doubt, the best talker in modern day wrestling. I don't think anyone could cut a promo like MJF. But it was MJF's final match before he got signed to AEW, so he was like finishing up some of his indie dates. And it was this weird, like, beautiful moment of like Colt Cabana, who wasn't signed yet either, so he's probably gonna finish his career on the indies, and he's saying goodbye to this young kid. MJF would have been like maybe mid-20s at this time, saying goodbye to this young kid who's about to start his career, his journey in televised wrestling. And it was this beautiful, and imagine like a very small, like, probably 150, 200, but no, under 200, probably like closer under 100. This very intimate venue, and it felt so special and so beautiful. Like, as far as like, you can't really put numbers to that. And sometimes with art, you shouldn't. You should just be like, how did it make you feel? And it was funny and sweet and sentimental and just beautiful.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if it has to exist somewhere on the internet. MJF versus Colt Cabana at AAW Logan Square Auditorium. Just a beautiful moment.
After that, you went home and gave it a 2.5 on Cage Match.
Yeah, I was ruthless.
Sometimes I'll see reviews that are glowing reviews, but then you look at their rating and it's a 3 out of 5, and you're like, wait, what didn't you like about it then?
It's this. I know I've said this before in this podcast. The only nerds worse than film nerds are wrestling nerds. They don't enjoy watching it. They enjoy having opinions, and they're insufferable.
And the only people worse than them are pop figure nerds.
Oh gosh. I can't imagine they're much better. They're like, I don't know, what do you have to like complain about vinyl pop figures? They all look the same.
You didn't mention the tiniest of smudge that I could probably get out with some Windex on the box. Can I get a refund partial for this? Nicole just responds, no, it was in the listing. You're buying the toy, not the carton it comes in.
Yes. Hell yeah, Nicole. Get their butts.
Yeah, you mean?
Sure. No, because I'm it's Christian hell.
Yeah, I did give that response as if it's in the Bible, I guess we can say it. So sodomy.
Yeah. All right, I'm getting into the match.
Please.
Love to see a match open up with Aerostar. This is the first match. We're 40 minutes in. Aerostar opens up the match, takes Big Bad Steve around the world a few times with a head scissors, big flying arm drag, over the top 619 to eliminate Big Bad Steve, which is here's the thing. Me complaining about Big Bad Steve is, again, no comment on this person or this worker. It's this character. I think Big Bad Steve is a great guy, a big guy, to get eliminated first in a battle royale by Aerostar. Yes, don't give that guy a gift of the gods medallion. It's the last I'll say about it. Hernandez picks the fight with Aerostar, but he gets cocky, taunting on the apron. He gets eliminated by PJ and Cuerno working together, who then turn on each other. After Hernandez's elimination, they get into this really cool hip toss struggle. Love seeing PJ and Cuerno. Great to see PJ back. They have such an interesting chemistry together. They match each other in a very interesting way. However, Jake Strong double clotheslines them both to the apron, and then Jake launches Dante Fox, who's amazing to see back as well. Dante Fox into the air, double drop kicks, eliminates them both. So we've already lost Big Bad Steve, Hernandez, PJ, and Cuerno. So Jake throws Arrow and Fox over the top, eliminates Aerostar, but Fox holds on. They have a really nice struggle for a moment. However, eventually Jake does get the upper hand, eliminates Dante Fox. It's like 4 minutes. It's like 4 minutes. This is really,
yeah.
At that point, that's really what are we doing here?
I like
Dante
that it was
Fox
nice and
is
short.
back. I like that it was nice and short, but Dante. These are big returns that we kind of wasted. Dante Fox is a huge return.
Yeah.
That we wasted. Had nothing to do with Jake Strong. PJ Black, also a huge return that could have been played into other storylines, right? PJ has so much tied to Taya and Johnny and Matanza and Ricky. Why is his return pop being wasted here? Dante Fox also could just beat Dante Fox, but also with the Mac, with Killshot, with Havoc. Instead of getting that big return pop in any of those storylines, it's just kind of being fed to Jake. Why are we wasting these? It feels like.
And Hernandez, oh my God.
And Hernandez is here. Big Bad Steve is back.
Real quick.
Yeah.
I've always thought this, but how Hernandez is a cool guy and acts like a cool guy, that's how my father-in-law will sometimes act like a cool guy. And so whenever I see Hernandez, it just reminds me of my father-in-law, and I enjoy that very much.
Okay, good. Oh, he's such a little stinker. I've never met your father-in-law. I'm referring to Hernandez. I love him. Oh, he's such a stinker. But all these like interesting guys who are back, like we kind of just threw all the way to Jake Strong. Like I already said my piece on it. We'll get into the post match where Antonio asks Jake who he would like to eliminate from the running, and Jake says, "Nobody, bring them all on, especially Big Bad Steve." So next week it will be a 7 to survive elimination match for the Gift of the Gods. Then Jake keeps yapping. He's like, "Yeah, if that's all you got, I'll fight anyone." So Antonio says, "Bet, fight Johnny Mundo tonight." Why? But like, why?
Well, we find out why later.
Kind of. I think it just happens. And wait, this might have been off. No, this was off mic. I like that. I like the main event in a bubble, totally removed. We might have differing opinions. I like the main event without context. With context, why? Like, why are we doing this?
And I only like it with context. I thought the match was... It's just one dude using the same exact move over and over and over again. How many, like, Johnny, just like, don't let your foot go near this guy's hand. That's all you got to do.
Yeah. We should get into, before we get there, Killshot versus the Mac is up next.
Mm-hmm.
Killshot's self-destruction tour continues as he fights another former Trios champion partner in the Mac. Meanwhile, Mac tying up this painful loose end before going into his death match against Mil Muertes at Ultima Lucha. Mil, the man of 1,000 deaths, this is your first episode. He's a big, scary guy. The Mac is a beautiful, very dangerous, but fun-loving individual. But like, yeah, it's a very fun contrast between those two. Son of Havoc, that third Trios partner, whom Killshot will be facing in a mask versus mask match. He shows up to watch from the nosebleeds. As the bell rings, Killshot tries to get a cheeky light slap into Mac. Mac, however, is in deathmatch mode. He hard slaps him back. Like just poof. And Mac initiates a quick lucha exchange. Killshot trying to get creative with a handstand counter. Mac shuts it down quick with a low drop kick. And I loved the rhythm of that. Like Killshot's usually very like strategic and can be very intense, especially we see Killshot today, Swerve Strickland, a very intense wrestler. But Mac kind of taking that turn a little sooner, being a little more like, no, we're going to fight. We're going to fight fierce, which I like the story of that. Killshot is focused on Son of Havoc, right? So this Mac thing is kind of a loose end of like, hey, I'm just here to prove that I was the guy in our Trios championship. And like, so this is kind of like an ego trip for me. Mac is like, oh, I don't have time for ego trips. I'm taking on Mil Muertes in a death match.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be a little turd? You want to be a little stinker, a little scamp? I'm going to kick your butt. And I love that. I love seeing Mac kind of like basically tune himself up to get into that headspace to take on Mil in a death match, which is great. Killshot though, again, Killshot knows when to get into that mode, and he gets in there pretty quick, hangs Mac out on the outside apron, kill stomp to the outside before rolling Mac back in. Mac fights out of a half Nelson, kick exchange into a German suplex. Mac just dumps Killshot on his skull. In the corner, Killshot counters with a flying knee, climbs to the top rope, flies, but Mac intercepts with a stunner. My God! And then from the back, like a man out of hell, Mil Muertes runs in to beat down the Mac. Referee has to call the match a DQ as Havoc runs in to make the save. Ring that bell. The match is over. Havoc makes the save. Like he springboards, double stomps onto Mil, who is forced to like notice him. Like it doesn't really hurt Mil. Mil just kind of like, oh, somebody just springboard double stomped me. Interesting. So Havoc and Killshot Killshot's still in the ring. They start teeing off on each other until Killshot throws Havoc into Mil. Havoc gets chokeslammed. Mil turns around to the Mac, flatliner as Killshot escapes. Like it, I like this. You know, it's a short little guy. We're just kind of setting up two different matches, but I thought this was a blast. Oh, a genuine hoot.
I forgot like Killshot doesn't care about the Mac anymore, but I was like, I can't believe he didn't help Killshot. But maybe him and Mil had, he didn't help the Mac, but maybe Killshot and Mil had this thing all planned because he's like, oh, well, I know Havoc will come in and rescue him. So, well, he's distracted. I'll take out Havoc while you take out the Mac.
I could see that. I could absolutely see that. Yeah, Killshot is such a strategist for him to like kind of talk to Mill beforehand and be like, hey, I rub my back, you rub. Nope, wait, I rub your back, you rub my back. A little back rubbing going on.
I rub your stone, you rub my back.
Yes. I lick your rock, you throw me off of a roof. I miss Katrina.
Same. Real quick, to go back to the first match at the end, Jake Strong was like, oh, I want as many men as Cueto can throw at me.
Which, like, yeah, man, I get that's some Stone Cold Steve Austin
wait, I
stuff.
can't be doing those noises.
Yes, no, also, man, if it was homoerotic, that'd be awesome, but it's not. It's Jake Strong trying to be the next Stone Cold Steve Austin, but forcing it. And it feels very forced.
Well, speaking of forcing, one man forced his ankles to heal so fast. He's the opposite of Achilles. He is Famous B.
Big Bad Steve.
No, Famous B.
Okay. Also, Big Bad Steve ankle was broken. And we're not talking enough about Big Bad Steve, and I don't know why. He is a golden god.
You're talking too much about
medallion.
Big Bad Steve.
Never. No, we have another promo. It is Matt Stryker interviewing Evilise and Exolicious. And so Matt says, you've asked for this time, so what's up? And I don't know, man. A setup has to be more than, hey, you wanted to talk. You know what I mean? You have to set them up with something. Hey, so you guys are number one contenders for the trios title. What's going on with that? Like, you got to give them something other than, hi, say something now. You know, it's like,
I wonder if they went into this season thinking they had 26 episodes, and then they're like, no, you have 22 episodes, you know, whatever the final run is, because it does feel like, oh, whoa, we're about to be at Ultima Lucha. We weren't planning for any of this. I wonder what behind the scenes did get messed up for them to have to play catch up.
Yeah.
That feels that way of like, oh, yeah, we don't have time to set this up because we have to get to another match after this.
I think that's fair. I will still say you still have enough time to, instead of saying you've asked for this time, so what's up, to be like, you are the trio's number one contenders. What are your plans? You can do a little bit more, because Evilise looks kind of shaken. She's like, yeah, so we are the trios. We have this 3-way trios title elimination match at Ultima Lucha, versus the Rabbit Tribe, the Reptile Tribe, the champions, and then us, Evilise, Exolicious, and Joey Ryan. However, Joey Ryan is dead. So we need somebody, and I'm quoting Evilise here, so this is fine. Here's a young badass with a future at Lucha Underground, Super Saiyan Sammy Guevara. This is my moment to shine. This is my moment of flight. He is a young father, and he has a very fun vlog on YouTube. I enjoy watching the Sammy Guevara vlogs nowadays on YouTube. It's Sammy Guevara, another guy whose ankle was broken by Jake Strong, who is now back. And I'll say, it's a shame they only gave him the one match against Jake, because they had a hell of a match. Like, that would have been a fun, instead of having his ankle broken, having Sammy and Jake start a rivalry, I think would have done so much more. That would have been such a fun, and they had such a fun chemistry of big and little guy, but Sammy's back, and I'm stoked. It's great to see Sammy again. Wish he was here for more of season 4. Matt brings it up like, whoa, Sammy, we haven't seen you, and is interrupted by Famous B. Who's also back from the broken ankle. He says, since I brought him to Lucha Underground under an exclusive contract to Infamous Inc. And Famous B basically owns Sammy's butt under this terrible contract for the next 7 years. And B is not down with Sammy tagging with non-Infamous Inc. contracted wrestlers.
Sean, you didn't include the fine print to that. It's 7 years, breaks not included. So him recovering, that doesn't include that 7 years. That's just him being out of work.
Yeah, it's a real bad contract, probably based on the actual contracts going around this temple.
Yeah.
It wasn't a lawsuit. We can talk about it. Yeah, so if Sammy wants to fight for the trio's gold, he can tag with Dr. Wagner and Tejano. I love how much B is leading into Tejano, not Tejano.
I miss him so much.
Same. Same. Hey, talk about people who could have had a Gift of the Gods medal over Big Bad Steve. Either Dr. Wagner or Tejano, honestly. Real, bud. But yeah, so Sammy, you want Trios Gold? I'll hit up Dr. Wagner and Tejano. Evilise and XO, Famous B goes on. You can expect a cease and desist order expeditiously. And Sammy looks uncomfortable, but he has no choice. As another thing I love about Famous B, as Famous B calls Sammy to leave with him, and he starts going, "Come on, get!" And there is a the get chant from the believers.
Wow.
Get. Famous B is over. Like, he's a little stinker. Like, he's a bad guy, but Famous B is over. People, we love Famous B. It's hard. It's really hard not to love what Famous B is doing out there. So Sammy gets all right. Sammy gets ahead of steam, hits the ropes, and then flies for a torpe corkscrew to lay out Famous B. That's not in the contract, James. James, I need you to focus a little bit with me.
Well, no, I was trying to figure out what Tejano and Dr. Wagner Jr. were doing at this moment.
It's not important.
I thought it was. I thought we were missing them. So it's like, yeah. And yes, you want to know what? It is part of the contract. I read that fine print. It says, if you can wildly beat...
Yeah.
Because Famous B always thought Dr. Wagner Jr. and Tejano would be by him at all times. He's like, hey, if you can beat me up and lay me out, your contract is null and void. So then Sammy's like, hey, I think I can lay him out right now. Laid him out, ripped up that contract and said, hey, I'll see you in court. Kangaroo court. Yeah. And then all these Aussies came out and they started kicking him, and then they had big old pants on and they shoved him in there and dragged him away.
That's exactly what happens. Thank you so much. This is why I need you. I do love like what actually happens. Where he takes the contract, he takes a trash can, he throws it into the trash can, and then the crowd starts chanting fire. Like they want him to set the trash can on fire. And he's like, oh, we didn't plan for that. And I wonder how much this is improvised. So he puts the trash can, because it doesn't totally fit. He puts the trash can onto Famous B's head and then super kicks the trash can, which like perfect. You know what? Even though we couldn't get a trash can fire, I'll take a super kick trash can anytime. So Sammy slides back in. And I like this too. They don't go on mic, but it's like, Evilise is like, hey, awesome. But like, so you didn't answer our question. Are we? And Sammy raises all of their hands together. He will be competing at Ultima Lucha for the Trios Championship. Everyone is friends except for Famous B, but he's a capitalist pig.
Yeah, heck yeah. Dang it.
Heck yeah. You said it.
You've been saying it left and right.
I know, and I'm saying, let's get to the main event. Jake Strong versus Johnny Mundo. And my first note, again, I'm not entirely sure why we're doing this, but I'll never complain if someone welcomes me to Slam Town. And like, we're going a little late on time. You have to cut out all of my sections. So, you know, we probably have a little bit more time than I see on my clock. Cause again, you're going to cut me out of this episode and replace me with an AI who just says nice things to you. I think.
No,
I think that's the plan.
A bleep.
Oh, okay. That's so much better.
Yeah.
It's before we get into like Jake going for the ankle lock 12 different times, it's not bad. And I don't even hate that. Like that's his finishing maneuver. That is his specialty, is the ankle lock. So like it makes sense for him to keep going for it. And Kurt Angle will do that. There'll be some, Kurt Angle matches where like he hits the ankle lock, like Kurt Angle versus Shawn Michaels famously. Kurt Angle keeps trying to hit that ankle lock because he knows that's how he wins matches. But like, again, I'm just on the other side of it where I'm like, why though? Like, why are we, what do we have to gain from this match? I don't know. It even feels like on paper, it's like, hey, the crowd is not warmed up enough to Jake Strong, and now we don't have enough time. Let's just put him in some more matches. And I don't know. I don't know.
I know the point. It was to show the rest of the locker room that Jake Strong does have a weakness. Just like the rest of us, as commentary says, oh, wow, he does have a weakness. Being kicked by Johnny Mundo in the heart. That's not a weakness. That's just biology.
I I do. His weakness is biology. Also the French he took. He didn't study those in school very well. I forgot the lyrics to that song.
That would be like if JR was like, by God, Stone Cold's weakness. He's being choked by 3 people right now. He's turning blue.
I thought you were going to...
The audacity.
I thought you were going to say, by God, Stone Cold's weakness, being hit by a car. Stone Cold's one and only weakness, being struck by a moving vehicular.
By God, Stone Cold's only weakness, a cool 6-pack.
Somebody needs to clock him into rehab immediately. Yeah, it's a silly little weakness.
And special guest beautiful Brenda is on commentary and she goes, that's my weakness too, a cool 6-pack.
What if beautiful Brenda was Stone Cold Steve Austin? If Lucha Underground was on today and we weren't writing for Lucha Underground, that would be a great sin. Maybe we need to meet Vampiro and Vince Russo and get on to JCW.
Yeah.
We just need to do that. Yeah. They have a restraining order out against us. They've listened to 2 episodes and they're like, hey, absolutely not. Keep these guys away from us. Jake does have a weakness, which like we saw it in that Sammy match. If I think it's the match I'm thinking of is that Sammy match. And he has a bit with Johnny here, and it is luchador. It is lucha libre offense, where Johnny, the bell rings. Johnny tries to go low to pick Jake's ankle, but Jake collapses on him and like rear waist holds onto Jake, and he controls him wrestling style. Like if it's a wrestling match, yeah, Jake's gonna win that. He's very big. He's very trained. He's been doing this for most of his life. He knows wrestling. So Johnny goes to a more lucha offense, the drop kicks, the arm drags, the springboards. And Jake has a bit of a problem with that. He had the same thing with Sammy Guevara. Like, I like that. Claudio Castagnoli, big bald Swiss man, beautiful wrestler, has the same kind of problem. He's a huge guy, and arguably one of just the strongest dudes in professional wrestling. And the storyline is always, yeah, he's this super well-rounded, strong guy, but he always has a problem with these faster lucha libre-based professional wrestlers. Which is so funny now because he has become CMLL, which is the rival AAA promotion, world champion. And it's like he is this champion of lucha libre. Finally, this in these later stages of his career, he's finally answered that gap. But for years and years, that was always his problem was this lucha based offense. Mm-hmm. So seeing Jake have that weakness, it's fun. They don't really get to get deep into it again because we don't have the time to tell an interesting rivalry story between him and Arrow or Drago. We just have to write them off. We wrote Drago off, man.
Woo!
I'm still not over. I'm
kidding.
still not over that. Yeah, I know you are. But yeah, so
I would have loved if Johnny was like, oh wait, I know true lucha libre offense that Jake will not be able to handle. And like a kid going on, there was this funnel water slide in the Dells, the Wisconsin Dells, and you saw the video.
The Dells.
I do. You saw the video of me just 3 times over and over being just pooped out of this funnel, and you slam. No, it's regardless of how you think you're gonna go into this water, it's never the same time you're gonna be on your back, your head, your feet, whatever. He should have just kept climbing up, running up the ladder of the little catwalk, and then jump down and just keep doing that over and over again until this little man is just completely wore out. And make sure the kicks land on his chest, his heart. That's his weakness.
His heart is his weakness. Also, if I ever get to the Wisconsin Dells, I will insist that Johnny comes with me so I can go down that water slide. And every time I hit it, he just goes, "Welcome to Slam Town." And then I I doggy paddle over and I do it again.
Heck yeah.
And so it's this story that he told with Sammy, and I wish, I don't know, a little bit of consistency here would have been nice. And we get these moments where space is not the wrestler's friend, right? Jake starts hitting the ropes, creating that space to hit this big northern lariat. Then again, because there's more space, he backs up to do a big flying Vader bomb, and that's when Johnny lifts his legs and kicks him in the chest.
Oh,
it's like that's like the weakness of being hit in the heart, yes, but also the weakness of the faster wrestler creating space. Like if you're a wrestler, you do holds, you do grapple moves. You want to. It's like fighting game rules. You want to be as close as possible. You want to close that distance. Where if they're gonna like Liu Kang spam fireballs at you, that's a problem for Zangief. Zangief doesn't have great fireball defense. And that's Jake. That's how Jake gets kicked in the chest. It's very serviceable, very back and forth. Johnny with the strike combo, leg lariats into running knee, into standing shooting star press. We get the first cover. Jake has to kick out at 2, and they're all kickouts at 2s. Like they take each other to the limit and back. Moonlight drive neckbreaker throws Johnny into the corner, who slips around the apron, goes for a springboard, but Jake sweeps his legs out. Johnny takes a real nasty crash and burn from the top all the way to the floor. So they're outside the ring. And this is the moment I'm just reminded how much I love Johnny Mundo.
He's a popcorn master.
He's a pop. Well, do you mean parkour?
Oh, that's what they said.
He is a parkour master. It's something also. There are some people that don't like Johnny Mundo, and that's fair. We all have different things. There are some people that saw Jake come in and it's like, that's my style of wrestling. Even though he's, regardless of character, I like big, strong, believable wrestling, and people are allowed to like whatever they like. Because Johnny has gone on, I know we've talked about before, how he's like, no, I don't want to just be a wrestler. I want to bring in truly my love for parkour. I've been doing parkour around LA. My love for kung fu films. We saw episodes before that looked like a straight up Dragon Ball Z strike exchange. He loves bringing in other things, including parkour. So we see a little bit in this where Jake Irish whips him, so he throws him into the barricade, but Johnny, parkour master, just climbs up into the second balcony. Doggy style. He climbs up there real quick, or more like a squirrel, and then Jake is the dog. He's like,
no,
I was to chase the squirrel.
I was being someone scurrying, not a dog.
Okay. You maybe it's because I can see you and I saw your tongue flop out of your mouth like a little doggy, so that's why that's on me.
Well, no,
I'm not looking at your tongue.
I'm not doing this. I was doing because you have to open your mouth in order to do it like that, you know?
I was going to say, you can't do that. I was going to say, but you can't do that.
That was just a wacky noise I made.
Yeah, just a wacky noise. So, the match. Johnny escapes to the balcony. Jake kind of follows him up there. This is where he grabs the first ankle lock. Johnny can't submit out here, obviously, but it's going to hurt. So Johnny takes the drink, throws it into Jake's face, and Jake just goes dead-eyed and gets very serious. And Johnny goes, "Oh no." And just runs away. There is no other way to phrase this. He turns tail and runs. He gets to the end of the balcony, and there's a gap where the aisle and the wrestlers would make their entrances and exits. So there's a big gap, and he looks at it, and he does truly an amazing parkour hop from one balcony to the next. And I love when he lands it, he raises his hand, and everyone cheers. Because as cowardly as it was, and James, make no mistake, that was some coward stuff back there.
Nah.
It was still very impressive. Wait, hold on. No, running away is cowardly. And
no, it's smart.
Johnny's face, Johnny's face when he ran away. There is a way to do it intelligently. Johnny literally almost made a face to camera like he's being chased by Jason Voorhees.
Yeah.
Oh, it was cowardly, but it was still very impressive and very cool. But it's what it made me.
You forgot to mention the blue text that said entrance gap when he successfully jumped over.
Wait, what? Oh, is that a Tony Hawk reference? Yeah. Okay, good job.
Also, you forgot to mention that the drink that he threw was offered up to him by a fan.
Yeah, because people love the mayor of Slamtown. He is democratically elected. I can't put over that moment enough of oh no, wee, and then he lands it. There's just a moment of hey, that was pretty cool, right? Everyone agrees. It's just this moment of that was terrifying. Oh wait, I look sexy as hell right now, don't I? And everyone agrees. Mayor of Slamtown, baby. Jake is like, okay, I'm not doing all that. He goes back to the floor, climbs to that balcony, tries to suplex him, tries to back body drop him off. Johnny, however, lands on his feet. Brutal power bomb to the floor. And really, this is Johnny's start. This is where you see Johnny can fight Jake. Johnny can take this fight to Jake. Yeah, they get back into the ring. They are approaching their third gear. And they're just oh my gosh, they continue to go for it. Johnny has so much offense. He has so many moves. Jake has an ankle lock. And this is where we see that ankle lock over and over and over again that you were mentioning. Yeah. There's a double down. Nobody gets up until the count of 9. They're really oh my God. I didn't actually get a time on this. But it's less than 20. It's not it's probably a 10 to 15 minute. But they beat the crap out of each other. Eventually, Johnny attempts another super kick, but Jake catches the ankle. Johnny scrambles, tries to roll through it, but Jake holds on. Loved this as well. Johnny loses an elbow pad, so the referee has to clear the elbow pad, and Johnny kicks Jake in the nuts as hard as he can. That's my hero. Right behind the ref's back. My hero. So Jake gets hit in the nuts. Johnny can't put any weight on his leg, but he can still launch the fin de mundo. However, he can't capitalize. He hits the fin de mundo, but he lands a little too far away, so he has to crawl to make the cover. And it takes too much time. Jake kicks out, catches Johnny ankle. Johnny's forced to tap out, and that's the match. Again, my note after that is similar to my first note. Cool match. I liked the match, but why?
Well, we find out why.
Kinda. I should say I love these. I love the final shot. So if you have nothing else to say on the match, I'll get to these final moments.
One more note.
Please.
Stryker says. There was an exchange between commentary of Jake's doing a lot of brutality, this and that. And they're like, oh, well, he knows who writes his checks, meaning Cueto. But then I was like, the mayor of Slamtown's about to write his check, a check he can't cash. Good-dish. I was hoping Johnny was going to win.
Same. And it feels like he kind of should. We know Johnny for more. I was going to say I'm much more invested in the Johnny storyline, but does Jake have a storyline? Not. That's what they're doing now, I guess, is putting together a storyline for Jake in these last 2 weeks.
And it would have been better for him to lose, and then the next match, he is just on a war path with the 6 other guys to get the belt, to be I lost last night, but this week I'm taking you all out.
Or it would have made more sense also. So there's a post-match beatdown. Why would Jake, other than I need to break ankles because that's nothing. I need to break ankles because that's how I feel good about my tiny penis. Cool, whatever. That's nothing. Jake loses the match, and now he's so mad he beats up Johnny long enough for Matanza to come out, which is what happens. Johnny's opponent at Ultima Lucha, the man who ruined his wedding, the god monster Matanza, comes out. That makes so much more sense if he loses this match. Also, Jake, you don't have a story. You have nothing going into Ultima Lucha, and I'm supposed to care about you because you're an ex-WWE guy? I didn't talk to you about this, but outside, sipping on my coffee before we started, I told myself I will not let Jake Strong take away my happiness. Now, I will not let Jake Strong from over 7 years ago take away my happiness, and I'm not going to let him do that. It's still dumb. Why did we do this? Why did we have Johnny lose? I'm not mad. He's not taking away my happiness, because I'm not letting Jake take away my happiness.
Well, let me get on to this then. Matanza comes in, and Johnny's getting beat the crap out of. He is bloody, so much so that Matanza is bloody. And it is insane. It is nuts to think of a job you get paid for where you are just wallowing in your coworker's blood.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I can't think of. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it. Yeah, and it's Jake. Even the storyline there. Jake hands off. Jake after the match. He puts Johnny in the ankle lock. Matanza comes out, and he just kind of hands Johnny over to Matanza. Cool. Bye, Jake. Leave now. And it is a gnarly beatdown. Like the way Taya eventually has to kind of come out to try and make the save, but Matanza just throws her down. Johnny bleeding out of the head. Wrath of the God lays out Taya. And that's when Matanza doesn't just leave. And I'm so glad that maybe they had some extra time. He attacks Johnny. Like, I rarely where he's like, Johnny is trying to escape. Johnny is trying to, like, get this guy off of me. And he just can't. He can't, like, and I'm assuming, like, if Johnny was actually hurt, he would have left the ring. But, like, it's that perfect amount of, like, it looks very realistic. It looks like Johnny's actually trying to escape. And he just can't. He can't get away from the God monster, who doesn't let up until Antonio Cueto, father to the God monster, comes out of his office and motions his head as if to say, "All right, good job, but let's go." And the final shot. Ooh, the final shot of Johnny and Taya beaten and laid out on the mat, reaching for each other, but just far away enough they are unable to touch. And we close on that.
Yeah. And hey guys, for next episode, I can guarantee it to you. We, specifically Sean, will not talk about Jake Strong's implications of becoming the champion of Lucha Underground.
How can you guarantee that?
Because I'm gonna, every time you say it, I'll say you called me a Mick.
What? Wait.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I've never. Wait.
Yeah, I'll say it.
You're gonna accuse me of calling you a slur for the Irish people?
Yeah.
I love D from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
You want to know what? I'll say that you made fun of my autism.
Jesus Christ. All right, before we get canceled.
People always make fun of my autism, actually.
I would never make fun of your autism.
They're like, oh, how come you always eat turkey log? How come you always eat turkey log? Well, that's what my brain wants me to eat. How come you only use one spoon? Because I like that spoon, okay?
Before I get canceled, maybe y'all should, I have actually nothing to plug. Yeah, I hang out with your loved ones. Kiss your dad square on the lips. Lock the gates. Comedy bang bang, comedy bang bang, comedy bang bang. I'm done.
Did you know what one of my plug themes got on Comedy Bang Bang?
Which one?
It was one of the Christmas episodes, like 2015. Go find it, guys. Hey, but what you should do is go over and find Magical Meatball Girls or Death to Squids, especially Death to Squids. Wherever you're listening to in this feed, Death to Squids is there. The next episode, which I hope will come out this week, Jose needs to figure out. Oh, no, it would be next week. Well, it's Dragon Ball The Magic Begins, the second live adaptation and the second unofficial live adaptation of Dragon Ball. We will be discussing that over there. And then we're going to be discussing the first 3 Terminator movies. And Magical Meatball Girls is back to talking about Sailor Moon. For our Clean Week episode, our manager Z from Chicago Comics was on, and it was a nutso episode. So it's real fun. Go over there and listen to that. And head over to patreon.com/MLM pod, where for $5 a month, you get exclusive content every single Friday. This Friday should be the Citizens of Townsville Z. I don't know who the guest is yet, but we'll figure that out. And $10 patrons get all of that plus monthly bonus exclusive content in the form of straight to Patreon or some watch-alongs. I think we did a watch-along of a very bad shark movie called Two-Headed Shark Attack. It sucked, guys. But the conversation was real fun. So go over and check that out. And $10 patrons get shout-outs on every single free feed podcast. Let's begin with those, starting with Steve F., Alex Z. The Waz, Orion, my Bickle brother in common law, Joshua, Jake, Steve Barnes, Sweet Child of Time, my mother, Lil Cor's BFF, and now former roommate Shane from twitch.tv/Core Winning. It's Corwin from the ROM Complex, as well as Formulaic, a podcast and script writing. It's twitch.tv/R2 Shelby2. And from Speed Radio, a podcast and all things Sonic the Hedgehog, it's Tay, aka Zinny D, and I've been James.
And I've been Sean, and this has been Sweaty Time Pro Wrestling. Purple Prancer forever, be like Bob.
Bye-bye. Oh, yeah.